The coming of the swallows. Winter kept them warm, at roost in hollowed trees, on sills, in the reed beds, their night nests of the south. In the shadeless days, feeding on dust clouds of insects, beaks full of lesser wings and wind-borne seed tightly held. Pearl breast against ether, in flight, wing beats keep the hours. Their scythe shapes cast on sand ridges, the desert itself a sundial. A passage in April to cross the riven earth northward, baptism on the line by spring rain, reading the nights for storm, only fitful sleep reached on the wing. Migrant over new land, shadow altars, due north at noon, it falls short ahead, prophetic, telling, here is the coming of the swallows. Pack of spade black, throat red, down over stony middens. Nest faithful, they circle rubble. No sound but their discordant song. A study of birdsong. The unborn, pendant in their airless chamber, tethered to mother. Held up by tracery of bone and vein in dark body of water, a soft skull unfused, a pair of flooded lungs. Stowaway, encaged below ribs, curled on pelvic cradle. Doubled limbs fatten, weighted by knots of crescent spine, and still the heart forms. Lidless eyes discern light signals, day versus night told upon the marbled wall. Early sound seeps in, stirred by the air of heartbeat, twinned pulse within, one and another. Sighs of sleep and talk of tomorrow keep time. A pattern of sharing pursues, a shuffle of movement is felt, leaning skinward. Later, outer noise speaks, stifled voices, coupled footsteps, wind, rain. Hushed voice resounds in fragments of learned song, recited prayer, and anxious murmuring. Stay with me, a month-long refrain, until, in cramped quarters, a whispered plea, it's time. Breathing then, mouthing breast, pearl teeth embedded yet, infant cries join the chorus. Responded to by birdsong, the learning begins. Clade notes bequeathed, teach in syllables the scale of expression. Innate verses sing of sustenance, warning, courtship. Vigilance and sleep are told by quiet pause. The child listens and tries its own novice strains, borrowed song on callow tongue, returned in a wordless language memorized, given to the new time and again a symphony, to hear before needing to understand. The violet hour. At dusk, the acceptance of shadow. The day's declining light mourned by lilacs. They tend downward, bough and counterbough cast onto the wet bank. Their clustered buds withered to brown. Casualties of blight, their tubular remains hang heavy with rain. Wind lifts the sag of wounded blooms, its stirring sending home the last of the birds that outstay curfew. The others have long since departed and made for home. As darkening tempers the crows' clamour, the air is bestowed to night singers. Their cradle song tolls, subdued, from nests of sticks and moss twined with the waste leavings of others. Come nightfall, the rats emerge, couriers of fever, scavengers of the dregs. They cross over scrub, footing the riverbed, charting spoor on silt. Blindly discerning water from ground, their throats parched after the captive day. Past midnight, the city sleeps. Objects of the home, redundant in unlit rooms, repose by damped down fires. A tryst, forced, desecrated the evening ritual. A now vacant mirror, impotent witness to the earlier violation, secrets the scene in its mutable glass. The account waits, unspoken, not yet committed in ink by a reed pen or molted quill, not yet told by hammering keys against ribbon. Only the nightingale tells. Away from her nest, low in the fescue, flight breaches the understory, leaving dark for dark, urgent song carried skyward. Felled by storm. A fallen crow, wind blown to ditch, is waked by gathered kin, its death fleetingly scored by a dissonant requiem loudly keened. Wheeled flight above scatters, leaving decay to its work. Theft of sightless eyes begins, and seeping mire floods slowly the hollowed cavities of feather and bone. Flesh and sinew are turned to worm castings, and earth reclaims carrion. The syrinx yields to burial, holding a last tacit note. What the thunder said. With the absence of water came delirium. Incessant screech of cicadas and grind of sapless limbs heightened the dearth of quietude. No respite from unease, only torment. Scorched souls, restive on stark terrain, coursed the desiccated place, sharing ground with pall of shadowed seagulls displaced, pursuing the trickery of fallen rain, mirrored. Alone with the delusion of company, phantom keepers trailed alongside, unreal. Unsettled, the hermit thrush mewed syllables of caution to its young, confined low in brittle hides. Their surrounds of branchwork, abandoned home of the slackened wind. The air pooled, heavy, weighted by withheld rain, close, waiting for the fever to be broken. Dust-laden swallows skimmed the untilled soil, whispering the dry grass, divining, wildered by thirst, confused as land mimicked sky, its gathered cloud blackening the earth entire, the disappeared horizon a further unmooring. And then the thunder spoke, following lightning, bringing rain, giving release to the burdened sky, cloud to ground, surrender of deluge, hammer strike and fracture collide, deafening, rupturing the firmament. The trees bowed, lending shelter in sympathy with the birds, captive in refuge, beaks buried under wing, repressing song. In time, the thunder dulled, relinquishing its hold on the harrowed land. Trusting the swallow to endure, it receded beyond the stilled waters, and then it called for peace.